everyone once again. I think one of the things I was going to say that is important to take action points or action notes. So while the speaker is going to be speaking, you should have like a note beside you on things you're going to start speaking or start doing rather. It's easy to just quickly join in and then like, oh, I learned this. So please share on your status, share on your social media platforms, invite your friends. So would you next slide, please? Yeah, so I think I've done the welcome already. So welcome once again. It's really lovely to see you guys here again. So I think this is just a brief overview of how we're going to go today. So just a little bit of opening remarks, of our program overview. There'll be an overview of our webinar. Of course, there'll be a little survey just to keep us interactive and keep the central focus of our meeting together here really before us, and a little bit of housekeeping rules. And at the end, we'll want you guys to have a little evaluation, how things have gone, or things you feel that we ought to do better, or things we ought to do improve on, right, for the next event. Of course, there'll be a little time for photos. So please have your makeup on, look nice and all. And we encourage you guys to like share on your social media status and stuff. So next slide, please. I think it's an opening remark from me. Um, okay, so I really want to welcome everyone here today. I think that for those that don't know, well, I think that I've actually summarized what we've done before in several occasions as an organization. So Inspire Africa was born out of a vision or a relationship from with a mentor, and I'm really glad that to see this vision really evolve to what we're or where we are currently at the moment. I would say that we've worked with an amazing set of team of women. You guys are really, I mean, both the mentors, the mentees, the admin group. So it's really lovely to see this vision take into or build into something amazing. And I'm so thankful for that. Part of the things that we want to do is to equip African women to create a safe space for African women to grow and realize their full potential. And I think that this is really, really important because um, I think the other day I stepped outside and I was having a conversation with a little girl, and I realized that she wasn't going to school. I was asking the people why is she not in school? And I think going back, reflecting, I realized to myself that could have been me if I didn't have the opportunity that I had. I probably would be stuck, roasting corn or doing something that really wouldn't bring out my full potential. So the idea of Inspire Africa is really to gather women so that we can learn from our previous experiences. We can be able to introduce ourselves to our networks, build relationships, and so forth, and so on and so forth. Would you next slide? So in respect to how our vision or what we really want to do, and this is largely for those who are joining for the first time, I'll just provide a brief summary. We want to create a safe space, as we said. We want to be able to be the leading mentorship program for African women, right? Looking to advance in every way, professionally, otherwise. We hope to build a community where women can come learn, right? Share their own experiences, give back to the general community, and be able to be a better version of themselves. So the utmost goal for Inspire Africa is that everyone who comes or is here is able to actually be a better version of themselves. And I think that's something that we really strive towards doing. Next slide, please. So that's a little bit of an opening remark and a summary of our vision from us. I realized that I didn't get introduced to myself. Hi, everyone. My name is Chidima. I'm the founder of, director of Inspire Africa. And I really look forward to having an awesome time. I think I've had a conversation with everyone here. I also, you guys will obviously get to hear from her and have heard from her before. But a little bit of other members of the team that are here, admin team, OJ Ojonugu Abubakar, who is also a co-founder and program coordinator of Inspire Africa, and Busola Debusola is our virtual technical assistant. So I'll be here for just a couple of minutes duration of the meeting, and I really hope you guys have a wonderful time. So a little bit of housekeeping just to ensure that there are no interactions. We urge everyone to mute their microphones when they're not speaking. There'll be an opportunity for you to ask questions or get clarifications and stuff. If you could kindly raise up your hands at that particular moment. I also want to let us know that this meeting is recorded. So that means that and what we're going to do with that is to upload the video on our YouTube channels and probably use it for subsequent media outlets that will be important to us. If you have questions in between the chat, in between our conversation, and you feel it may not be the right time to kind of like bump in and ask a question, please drop your questions in the chat box. We encourage you to put up your camera because we love to see people's faces. I know for some of you may be worried, oh, it's dark, it's a Saturday, I've not had time to look like an inspiring woman. It's fine. I mean, it's a safe space for you, so that's okay. So if you could use your reaction buttons just to help us know that we are not talking to our screens, it will be very beautiful. And please kindly engage in all activities. And I think one other thing I want to say is please kindly share this on your platform, different platforms, to let people know that we've started. OG, next slide. Okay, so I'll hand over to OJ at this moment. I really hope you guys have a wonderful time in this webinar, and yeah, have a beautiful one, OJ and Ayo.
Thank you, Chidima. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop sharing the screen, and then I'll share the screen for the survey. So we just want to know, okay, I think maybe I should introduce myself as well. So my name is Ojon Guabo. You can call me OJ, and I'm the program coordinator and also a co-founder with Inspire Her Africa. So we just want to take a brief survey, interactive survey. You get to see how everyone feels or what everyone knows about personal branding at the moment. We share this, I continue talking. And so what you can do to join is to scan the code that you can see on the screen, or you can also tap the link in the chat. So what I'm going to do now is to drop the link to this in the chat. So you can just click this to be able to access everyone. Okay. So you can just, oh, that's the wrong thing. But then if you're not using your, what's the name, you can just scan this to join while I try to get the link. Let's get the right link. Okay. Yeah, so that's the link in the chat there. So you're just going to go like these are things that are going to be split second decisions. So we're not going to spend a lot of time on this so that we can get to like the main issue, the main thing that we're here for. So again, you can just scan the QR code to join or click the link in the chat, take you directly to this particular screen. And yeah, so take it to this screen and yeah. So this is the first question on the screen. So we just want to know how familiar are you with the concept of personal branding? And I'm going to time this. This time, just have 10 seconds actually. So let me be, yeah, and then it's going to close because we want to move like very fast so that we catch up on time. To think how familiar are you? Oh, that was fast. Yeah, so you have 20 seconds now to place a vote. Yeah, so we can see what's happening. Oh, there are people that are very familiar, some experts, and then there's someone that really has an idea. I think me and that person are kind of on par with what's going on. Somewhat familiar, I can relate. So we have like 5 seconds to vote on this particular point, and then it's close. So yeah, we have some experts and some new people as well. So that's really good. So the next thing is, have you actively worked on crafting your own personal brand before? So we have 10 seconds. Oh yeah, never. All right. Yeah. So even the people that know sometimes oh yeah, okay. Okay. So a lot of people have. All right. So that is closed now. The next one. What statement describes your current understanding? So do you have a clear understanding? Have you heard of it, but you need more guidance? Okay. You're not sure what it is. Okay, so we have someone that's really, really interested in learning. Yeah, a lot of people need guidance. So I think you are in the right place for that. are in the right place for that. And I think that's we have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So yeah, I started the timer late, but thank you for voting on this. So we have a lot of people who have heard of it but need guidance. And yeah, the next one. In what context do you like to apply your personal brand? So I think you have 3 options. So I mean, you have like, you can type 3 things. So do you want to start a new business or an entrepreneur endeavor? Do you want to just have a professional image, or do you just want to be personal? Or whatever context, really, just feel free to type in words. Once you type in your response, it will pop up on the screen. Okay, so let me start the timer. Hopefully you guys get to type in responses. Okay, that is very nice already. We have some responses coming in. Entrepreneurship, that makes sense. Career development, professional image, yeah. Life, that's good. If you want to be you may want to be a, what's the name of this thing? Influencer, yeah. So yeah, but yeah, professional career, social sets in life, yeah. Okay. And the next one, have you attended a workshop or session or any session on personal branding before? Okay, this is my first. I mean, for me, so I think I would say the same thing actually. It's my first time actually. Oh, okay. Someone has and has done stuff. And then is there people who have? Okay, that was just okay. So it's like a even sort of thing. Nice spread. That's good. Next, how comfortable are you with promoting yourself and your accomplishments? Very comfortable. Somewhat comfortable. Okay. Okay. So somewhat comfortable. Me, I don't think I'm really comfortable, to be fair. But yeah, somewhat comfortable. Okay. So the people that are very comfortable is like very, very limited, just 80% of people. All right. Okay. So the next one. On a scale of 1 to 5, how excited are you about today's session? How excited? 1 is not, 5 extremely. What's the consensus? All right. 4, someone is in the middle. Yeah. All right. So very extremely excited. A lot of excited people, and yeah, we are really excited to have you here as well. So that is the end of the survey. So thank you for participating in that. So I mean, we've come to like the main I would say of why we are here, and it's to yeah. So thank you for participating in the survey. So now the main reason why we're here is for the presentation. So as Chidima has explained, the presentation is kind of split into 2, but for the first session, and actually for throughout today, our facilitator is Ayomide Fasan, who has a Bachelor of Arts in English language and a diploma in French language. So she's multilingual, but she's an ardent female African dedicated to reshaping Africa's narrative through civic advocacy and unwavering support for humanitarian causes aligned with the African Union's Agenda 2063. She's a multilingual professional, which I've said, and an author with over 4 years of expertise in corporate communications, brand management, and media relations. So she's like the right person to talk about this now. So I'm going to welcome Ayomide. Stop sharing my screen so that she can share hers, and sit back and enjoy this session. Bring your notes out as well. So yeah, thank you so much, Ayomide. We're happy to have you. You're mute.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here as well. I will just share my screen. Good morning, everybody. Nice to see you, Adebusola, Yetunde, Elizabeth, Jennifer, Tijesunumi, Fowa, Orolua, and Ima Akwa, if I'm correct. Nice to see you too, OJ. All right, I'll share my screen right away and then we'll start the conversation. Okay. Yep. Okay, please confirm that you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
All right, awesome. So good morning once again, or good afternoon as it is here in Nigeria. My name is Ayomide Fasan. Thank you for the introduction, OJ, and we'll be discussing how we can improve our personal brand, or why should we even care in the first place. I looked through the survey as we're filling the questions to hear Some people have some knowledge about it, some people don't. Some people have attended webinars like this, but they've not been able to fully implement the decision. Some people are comfortable sharing about their personal brand, some others are not so comfortable, right? So overall today, we'll be discussing, I hope I'm able to help you that at the end of this session, you're able to fully understand, have practical steps to actually in the moment implement those steps so that you can improve your personal brand. In your notes, right, or notepad or your phone, why do you think you want to improve your personal brand? I'm not going to ask you yet, but I want you to write that down somewhere and just ruminate on it as we speak. Thank you. So yes, they introduced me, so I'm just going to skip this part and then we'll talk about what is personal branding. Okay. Right on my slide, just before that, I want to say something else. Okay. So in today's fast-paced and highly connected world, building a personal brand has become essential for achieving professional success. We know that some people say randomly that if you check LinkedIn, everybody's successful on LinkedIn as it were, and all of that, but people are just putting their best foot forward or trying to build their online resume, because sometimes people don't get a chance to reach out to you on the phone or via email to say, oh, please, can I meet you? Or can I meet you in the career professionally, right? But they can easily go to your LinkedIn page and say, okay, what does this person do? Where did the person school? Does this person have the right set of experience for the job I'm intending to propose to that person? Or even when we apply for jobs these days, people say include your LinkedIn page because they want to go there before they have any conversation with you. They want to see how good you've been able to sell yourself. If your right talent, right skills are already in sync with what the job you're applying for, right? So today I would like to take us on a journey to explore the significance of personal branding. What are the key elements, the essential strategies for developing and maintaining one, how you can leverage social media, overcome these challenges that illustrate the transformative impact of personal branding. So personal branding, as you can see on the screen, is a process. And I would like to emphasize that word, it's a process. And by process, mean it's a journey, right? It's a process of defining, promoting what you stand for as an individual. Your personal brand is an accumulation of the experiences, the skills and values that differentiates you from others. So people say like our thumbprints, we are different, right? Everybody has a different design of the thumbprint. So that's also what personal branding is, right? It's that combination of your skills, your experiences, and the values that separates myself from OJ, separates Adebusola from Yetunde or Elizabeth from Jennifer, as it were. Okay, so overall, we say that your personal brand is that image, the reputation and perception that you cultivate in the minds of others. It's not just about self-promotion, it's about demonstrating your expertise, the values and your uniqueness. So you see again that personal branding is pretty tied to our identity. And at the core of it is, what do you want people to see about you? So when people hear Ayomide, what do I want them to think? Or if they hear Ayomide Fasan, because there are many Ayomides anyway. So what do I want them to see? Or I want them to see is someone who is an expert in communications, somebody who is willing to solve branding issues for an organization. So that is how I want you to think about it. So that's why I initially said at first that you should please write down, why do you think you want if you want a good personal brand in the first place? Because the motivation will keep you when it's not smiling or it's pretty difficult as it were, right? Okay, so I'll move next to say there is now a difference now between your reputation and personal branding. So according to an article from Harvard Business Review, it says that people typically confuse reputation with personal branding, but it's not the case it's not even the case. Everybody has a reputation. And that's like that first impression that you make. Oh, this person is funny. Oh, this person, she's pretty proud. Oh, this person seems arrogant. Oh, I like that she's cheerful. I like that she's willing to help. So those are perceptions that people have. And that's what they try to use to build up what your reputation is. So the relationship you form with your manager, with your colleagues, how you communicate with them, all of that impacts how they see you. But on the other hand, personal brand is now more intentional to say, how do I want them to see me? So you can't, like people will say, people's perception of you, sometimes you can't absolutely change it. If you meet me and say, oh, I like you, but I think you look a bit rude, or something. And there's somebody else who thinks that, no, Ayomide is the most humble person I've ever met. Now, those are two different people, but maybe based on the way we've met, interacted at some point, they form two different opinions about me. So someone, I appear very rude. To another person, I appear maybe not rude, maybe it's just being blunt or direct. To another person, I know it's not Ayomide. Ayomide is very humble. Like, so different. So that's my reputation to them. But my personal brand is now saying, how do I even want to be seen? I want to be seen as someone who is humble, but yet to be able to give direct feedback where necessary. And then I begin to intentionally cultivate that to ensure that I'm making that impression in people's mind intentionally wherever I go. So that is where personal brand comes in. So personal brand is work. I will not even lie. Personal brand is work, but it's good work. So if you know the reason you want to do it and you see the ultimate goal at the end, you'll be able to scale through. Everybody, we all work. Well, I think we have different reasons for working, right? Some people work to get more money. Some people work to rise up in career and become a manager so that they can be giving the works to their interns. I've seen some people like that. Some people put in the hard work because they have to eat. Some people like good things. They want to be able to travel for vacation, spend luxury. I think that they cannot steal. I would rather work so that I can live that life that I would love to live, right? So people have different reasons why they work, and that's why they show up every day. So same as your personal brand, whatever is the reason you want to have a personal brand, it should be strong enough to keep you going when the chips are down. So in summary, like my caption says, whereas reputation is about credibility, your personal brand is about your visibility and the value that you outwardly represent. Okay, so I move to the next slide. I hope I'm not too fast. Please let me know. Let me just look at the chat box. If I am a bit too fast and I have to take it slow. Okay, no comment yet. All right, so just to whet your appetite, I've written here, outlined some benefits of personal branding. So for one, you attract opportunities, whether it's business, whether it's career. I see that when we were filling the Menti survey, one of it asks, what do you want to gain? Some people say for their entrepreneurship, for career development, for life generally. The truth is that when one of the strong benefits of personal brand is that you attract opportunities, career or business. I think being able to speak here today is one of the opportunities that I attracted with the development of my personal brand, right? So these are similar things, or similar opportunities, or these are practical examples of how building a personal brand, you immediately have created an impression, subconsciously or consciously, in the hearts of people, that when they think of, I need a fashion designer, I want to make a dress, I have an idea of this kind of dress I want to make. Who in my space or in my network can do it? Okay, I just realized that there's an Elizabeth that can help me to do it because I've seen Elizabeth work time without number, pushing it out there that she's the best fashion designer when it comes to making bespoke wears. There's somebody else that if I want to make trad, I may not necessarily think of her because she has created a personal brand around bespoke wears. So it's hard for me to think that she could make trad, or except she's selling both brands. Do you understand? Another person now, I know that if it's Ashoke that I want to get, this is the person I should go to because the person has promoted culture, maybe it might just be the little things, the courage, the way the person dresses themselves, the way they speak, what they promote on their page, and all of that, right? So that's how you build personal brand. And ultimately, it helps you attract opportunities, whether business or career. So is that it minimizes imposter syndrome. So imposter syndrome is something that's been trending for a while. I'm not sure how far it has been trending, but in recent time, I've heard that word or that phrase over and over again, imposter syndrome. And in plain terms, what imposter syndrome means is you feel overqualified for what you've been asked to do, or you feel, maybe not the word overqualified is right. So I'm offering Ayomide a job and Ayomide feels this job is too good to be true for me. I don't deserve this job. So that's an example of imposter syndrome, where you actually did apply for the job, you got it, and they are paying you, say, some $40,000. But in your mind, they're like, hope I didn't scam these guys. Did I really get this? Hope it was not a mistake. And you begin to now doubt your own capacity. That's what imposter syndrome does. So, but how does personal branding solve this issue? In the sense that when you're doing personal branding, you're deliberately archiving or telling the story of your growth. Right. So today I spoke at IHA, I posted online. Tomorrow I attended a workshop about branding, I posted. Last week I helped somebody with their personal brand, I posted. And you do that day in, day out, day in, day out. So let's say by mid-year next year, I get to speak at some conference and they're paying me to travel to Kigali to speak on personal branding. I won't feel like, oh, I just cheated these guys. Can I really do this? Because now I have history, right? That I've archived day in, day out. Oh, Ayomide, if you could speak to a number of persons at IHA, you could do this in your office, you could do that, you could do this. So why wouldn't they want to pay you to travel to speak at the same time? So that's where I said it minimizes the imposter syndrome. As much as you might not take it away 100%, because really you still have to tell yourself it's a different ball game, right? So that's not my class, but you have to still tell yourself or be very confident in your ability to deliver. That's ultimately what will solve imposter syndrome. But a way to minimize it is now go back to your previous track record and say, if you could do A, B, C, D, E, F, then why can't you do G and H, right? So it ultimately it minimizes imposter syndrome. Then also, as an advantage, it increases your confidence level, yes. So you have a resume to present and say, oh, yes, I can deliver on this job. I did this, I did that. Sometimes on the spot, you yourself may not readily remember that you've done some of these things before. And that's why even there's an exercise we're going to do at the end of this class. And at that point, we're going to see how do you build your personal brand, or in the process of building your personal brand, what's this kind of self-assessment you should do? So what are you good at? Maybe in church or at work, wherever you find yourself in a very relaxed setting. They're asking, who will help us to do this? Before you're not even thinking about it, you've already raised up your hand that you're volunteering to do this, right? So sometimes if you now be more intentional about detailing those things, talking about them, telling those stories, it boosts your confidence level, and then you can even place a charge or a professional fee on such services that you prefer. Okay, so another one is to build relevant network with ease, of course, because you don't need everybody. You only need some persons that are relevant, to be honest, right? Our target audience, like I was telling someone last week, your target audience cannot be everybody, to be honest. So if you are positioning yourself in the niche where people that you need can find you, then it makes life easier rather than just moving from here to there to say, oh, where will I find them? Where will I find them? But if you already position yourself, I'm positioning myself as a communication professional, and I want to reach out to small and medium-sized enterprises who need branding services for their business, then what do I need to do to position myself that these people can see me and I can also access their community to be able to sell my value to them, right? So all of this comes to while doing your assessment rather will help you build a personal brand. Then also you gain influence and credibility, of course, in the process where it's easy for you to say, oh, please write me a reference, please do a referral for me, because people have seen you, and as you do that, you're expanding your network, you're becoming more influential, and you are gaining credibility as well. Then ultimately you achieve your goals and you offer value to the world. You are able to make the impact as wide as you want to make and achieve your goals, whether it's a business goal, it's a career goal, or your life goal, right? So like I wrote here in the caption, says, by taking charge of your personal brand, you can determine what people think and feel when they interact with you. All right, so now we are looking at effective steps to building a personal brand. And after this slide, I'm going to pause for OJ to take on the conversation, because I know that there's going to be some breakout rooms, and then we'll be back again for the second part of the session. So effective steps to build a personal brand. I outlined 4 steps. One is figuring out what drives you, and that's in the self-assessment, right? So what's important to me? What do I like? Where you are, you're thinking, okay, yeah, I like children. I like to train children. I like to be seen as somebody who parents can trust their children with for quality education or for spiritual development or whatever it may be, right? So figure out what drives you. What are you passionate about, right? And I know there are conversations about, and maybe some people might ask the question later to say, there is the work that I do, but there's a passion, and both of them don't align. They are maybe worlds apart. I would rather want to push my passion as a personal brand, because the truth is, it gets harder when you want to push so many things at the same time. It's the same thing that wants to be the best fashion designer in the world, that wants to be the best cobbler as well, and at the same time you want to be the best pilot. It might be hard, right? So, or you might just, what might solve that kind of conflict would be to say, which one are you prioritizing in the now? So maybe subsequently, or how can we merge together that you are going to position yourself instead of a cobbler and a fashion designer as maybe if a celebrity dress or a chaperone, right? To say that, okay, if people want clothes, want their shoes, and maybe then you can subsequently even seek help with someone who can help to do hair. So everybody knows that if I want my outfit to be great, if I want to go for a party or a gala, I should reach out to this person because I know she's going to dress me up, something like that, right? So what drives you is one important step. Two is now aligning this your values to the organizational goals. And what I mean here is I imagine that everybody works in some place, whether it's your own business you are running or it's an organization, right? Because once you figured out, okay, these are the things that I want to do, then I align these values to the goal of the organization. So if within your organization, you work in the fintech and you want to, the brand you are pushing is that you are the best products manager in the world. It starts from what you are doing currently to say, okay, what opportunities exist in this organization that I can put my foot on the ground and maybe begin to support, whether it's voluntary or being paid for. Say, okay, if they are looking for someone who's helping, who's thinking they want to do a strategy about product management, I'm there to say, yeah, I'm happy to volunteer in this session to discuss, to put make inputs and all of that. And if it's otherwise, if it's your own business that you're running, then that makes it easier. Is the business you are running aligned with the vision that you want to push? For instance, while they were reading my bio, says I'm an ardent African. I'm proudly African. Like I'm proud to be an African. And one of the business that I run, which is CHL Africa, what our goal is to make sure that Africans both abroad and at home are proud of Africa, right? I look forward to that day where in Africa, when they ask you, what continent are you from? You can proudly say I'm African, not just because you are proud, it's self-conscious, no, but because we're actually growing, there's development, there's growth. People are proud to identify. The grass is green on this side as well, right? But of course, it takes a lot of work to get to that. So because of that, I know that first it starts with me knowing that, yes, I'm proud to be an African and I want more people like me that we can drive growth together and ensure that Africa, beyond just a wish that everybody should like Africa, it becomes a reality that everybody actually does because of the good work that we can see, good governance and the likes. So figure out what drives you, align your values to your organization goals or business goals, then map out your stakeholders. Please pardon the big words, but by stakeholders, I mean your target audience. Who are those that you want to reach? Who are those that who needs the service you are offering, right? So if you say you sew clothes for children, definitely you will not be targeting children. You'll be targeting their parents, right? Because children will not make the choices by themselves, or at least the primary stakeholders in this case will be parents who have the purchasing power to buy the clothes. Then maybe for children as secondary stakeholders, you are considering, okay, if these clothes are very attractive, if the child works, maybe where do they go to parks? Maybe they go to parks, they hang out at eateries or children-friendly eateries and the likes. You are able to say, maybe can you put out your store? Can you do a show, a trade fair around there to say if the children see it, they can compare with their parents to buy it. But primarily, if you are targeting the children first, no matter how they love it, they can't bring up money to buy it, right? So you would need their parents, and so you have to target the parents, right? So that's an example. So you map out your stakeholder. If you want to ensure, you look out for who are those getting married in this year between now and maybe 2023, and they're likely to give birth to children in the next 2 years. You're already building connections with them. You're already letting them know that I'm the one that will sew your baby's name dress. So those kind of conversations, so that when there's a baby, we need some dress, who comes to mind? The person that's been ringing it in my head here over and over comes to mind first. And it's just human nature. It's by default, right? So that's how, so once you map out your stakeholders, you then move to step 4, which is making yourself visible. And that's what I was already explaining. So you're already putting new words there, you're posting here and there, you're discussing with people, you're creating a profile for yourself, right? And ensuring that, okay, people are able to see where, then you ask yourself, these stakeholders you mapped out, where are they? Where can I find them, right? Well, young brides will typically be on IG. They will typically be following Bella Nigeria. Can I engage Bella Nigeria to say, can you post for me something like this? Oh, there's this page that does mom, maybe it's young mom, dear young mom, or something like that. I know there are a plethora of them if you look for, right? And say, okay, this person actively give advice to young mothers, so this would be a good place to also strategically position myself. Or you yourself, you start up something, you start writing articles. If you're a young mom, these are the things you do. And ultimately at the end, they know that, this person that always writes and give us tips. What does she do? What can I do to support her? Oh, she makes children dresses. Absolutely, I'm happy to buy them, right? So these are ways or strategic ways ways to help you build your personal brand. And in the call out, I said successful personal branding is about curating certain, why can't I see it myself? Sorry. Okay, creating certain parts of your personality to present yourself to your network in the best possible light. So definitely you have to present yourself in your best possible light, right? For them to see you and then ultimately require the value or access the value that you're offering to them. So I'll pause now and hand over to OJ. I hope the session so far has been very interesting. And I promise you it's about to get even more interesting in the subsequent session. Thank you, and over to you, OJ.
Thank you so much, Ayomide. This has been a very, this like whets a very nice session to whet one's appetite. So yeah, I'm hoping to, I'm curious about what's coming next. So, but before we go into the next session, we just want to give everybody opportunity to interact and relate with each other. Let me share my screen. So essentially what you'll be doing for the next 10 minutes, I know it's a very short time, is to get to meet each other. So we are going to put you in breakout rooms of about four or five people per breakout room, and then you will just get to talk to people. So what essentially what you would do is, so I'm going to use myself as an example. I'll be like, okay, I'm Ojanugua. I'm currently, or OJ, I'm currently in the UK. I'm interested in academia, advocacy, and education. And what is my favorite platform is Twitter. Why? Because I can hide, which is kind of contrary to what we're doing here today, but that's why I like Twitter. Like, it's interesting, but I don't need to be out there, and I'm hoping to change that. And where am I most active? I mean, I know there's a debate about whether WhatsApp is a social media platform or just a messaging platform. But I mean, generally more active on WhatsApp, and that's why I spend more time. And I do not believe that I've been leveraging social media for professional progress. So I can't answer the second part. And what are the words I want people to associate with my brand? I want them to think that I'm someone who's smart, who's interested in education, who's interested in giving back to the community and social justice. So the keywords are kind of academia, education, advocacy, and advocacy and words in this one. I said education already. Anyway, broadly it's, but also precisely maybe like bioinformatics, data analysis sort of thing, more specifically. Then the existing brands, that's something is a homework for me. But I mean, I like some kind of brands. I'd like a number of like brands, but I don't think there's anyone that's like a benchmark for me yet. I've not found one. So anyway, so that's what your conversation is going to be like. So in like 1 or 2 minutes, you just like run through these questions. I'm going to paste them in the chat. And then before you come back to the room, you are going to, as I said, the breakout room is just for 10 minutes. When you come back to the room, you just, one person, before you leave the room, you select one person who's going to feedback, like a summary of what you guys have discussed, what people are interested in. And yeah, and you can also, within the group, share your profile for people to follow you and all that. So I'm going to stop sharing now and open the breakout room. Yeah, everyone's back to the main session. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay, thank you so much for your feedback. So we're going to go to room 1. So room 1 had Adebusola, Aisha, Fowa, and Gift. So who is the representative to tell us what everyone's impression about our experience with personal branding is? Did you guys decide, or should I just call somebody?
Oh, sorry. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Okay, so we spoke on branding, as in where we had our interest. And then someone said fashion, someone said the gym. And then we also spoke on various social media platforms that we are active on. And people give quite examples like LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and then Snapchat.
Sorry, were people able to, did people identify the social media, did people identify like brands that they would like to benchmark their own profile against? Or many people did not know?
Yes, we did. I think 3 people did. 2 people did.
Okay, that's cool. Thank you so much for sharing that. So for room 2, we have Chinyere, Jennifer, or Lua. Who's giving the feedback?
Okay, I'm not sure that we reached a decision, but I can speak for the team. I
Okay,
met
thank you.
Jennifer and Chinyere. So one thing we all had in common was that we didn't really have any brand we are currently looking up to. However, yeah, Chinyere also mentioned that she really isn't into social media, and as such, she doesn't have a favorite, but she's more active on WhatsApp. And like you mentioned earlier, WhatsApp is more of a messaging platform. However, Jennifer mentioned the fact that she's been able to leverage LinkedIn to reach out to people, and that has helped her to secure a scholarship with which she's currently in the UK doing her master's. And yeah, I think that sort of summarizes it. But then generally, we don't have brands that we're currently looking up to.
Thank you so much for that summary. I like the way you structured it. Thank you. So room 3 right now, we just have Chidebube and Moyo Sore, who is like the rep to the representative from there to give the feedback.
Okay, hello everyone.
Hello.
I'm Moyo Sore. So I got to interact with Chidiebube and Mary, and I think the three of us could agree that we were not leveraging our social media platforms for like professional branding as much as we'd love to, and it was something that we are working on. Chidiebube and Mary had people that they are looking up to, like for like benchmark. Yeah, but I didn't. They both had somebody that they look up to and was a benchmark for them, but I didn't. I think that's it. They are married into gender equality and advocacy and girl child empowerment, and Chidiebube is into advocating for lifestyle changes to prevent chronic diseases. Yeah.
That's
I'm
really
into
cool.
global health. Yeah.
Also, you guys were kind of okay, well, gender, but then you guys kind of had similar interests in a way, I would say.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think you can say that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
really cool.
sums it up for us.
Yeah, that's really good. Thank you for your feedback and the way you summarize it. Yeah, thank you so much. So, I mean, I think it has been interesting to get to know people. I hope, I mean, now you can also drop in the chat as well your social media platforms. I'm sure there are people you probably have met with that you would like to connect, or just from hearing the summary, yeah, you may want to link up with people, but I think you can drop your stuff in the chat. I mean, all the global health people, I'm also a very health person, so I love to connect with people on that note. But now, so thank you so much for your feedback. I'm just going to hand over to Ayomide for the second part of today's session. So I'll stop sharing now.
Thank you so much, and welcome back, everyone. Happy that we had a great session engaging each other in the virtual breakout rooms, right? And yes, I see that it's a mixed multitude. Some people are really not interested in social media as much, or some other persons are already actively using it. And kudos to that person who got a scholarship via that medium as well. Well done. Sorry, trying to share my screen now. Yep. Okay. Okay. All right, so I'm back. So yes, I'm back with us kickstarting this exercise. Let me bring it up. Yeah. Hopefully everyone can see my screen now. So yes, we'd want to, this is like an icebreaker. I would like you to scan the QR code that you can see or type in the link bit.ly/pbworksheetcca, right? So this is a free guide that I'm giving you, courtesy Adedoyin Jaisimi, the co-founder of the Comms Avenue. That's why I said the source is the Comms Avenue. So this is a personal brand workbook that if you can print it out, it will be nice, or if you can answer it, like use a PDF editor to answer the questions, right? I imagine that we're already scanning it, please. So you can just look through and see what does this look like? What does it mean to you? Let me share. Yeah, I think we can see this is what it looks like, right? This is what the personal brand looks like. So the question is, what's your personal brand vision? What do you want to be known for? So in the next 5 minutes, let's say 3 to 5 minutes, I would like you to look through, or you can also join me as we're looking through on my screen. So just pen down some responses that you can remember off the top of your head, like on the spot. What do you want to be known for in the next 10 years, or even like for life? I want to be recognized as the best doctor in Nigeria or in Africa or something. So what do you want to be known for? I want to be the most prominent gender advocate in Nigeria or in Africa or globally, right? I want to be able to sit on a committee at the UN discussing how we can eradicate gender inequality in some years' time down the line, right? So what do you want to be known for? What do you want to accomplish with your personal brand? Similar to that question I'd asked before, that why do you even want a personal brand in the first place? Which existing brand do you want to use as a benchmark for yours? I know that we also looked at that in the breakout room, right? Yeah. So, and now there's the, what problem are you solving? I hear that some people are solving the problem of gender inequality. Some other persons is just poverty alleviation, human rights advocacy, and the likes. What challenges have you overcome so far? And what key lessons have you learned in your journey? Then what's your message? What are you passionate about? Who do you want to help? What do you want to help? Similar to when we discussed who are your target audience or who are your stakeholders, right? What key what do you want people to associate your brand with? So when is it, oh, I want to be a communication expert, I want to be a gender advocate, I want to be a social norm advocate, or whatever it is. You want to be the best lawyer in town, you want to be the best doctor, or even the best teacher, right? I want to be the best Montessori children's teacher. I want to be the best fashion designer, as it were, right? And then in summary, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? I know this question has become cliche and people have even joked around it. There's meme around, I don't even see myself in the next 5 years, or don't ask me, I want to eat, this is what I want to eat this afternoon that's on my mind, not what I want to see in the next 5 years, etc. And then write what your key message is in one sentence and all of that. Summarize your brand, personal brand story, etc. So as much as, yeah, the question has become cliche, where do you want to see yourself in the next 5 years? But the truth is that you really cannot become, you can't wake up to realize that, oh, I'm the best gender advocate in the world. You have to plan towards it. It's not, as it might, a bit of it might be subconscious, but there are measures of that. You can't become the best gender advocate in the world if you're not intentional about it. And it starts with, where do you see yourself between now and December? What concerted efforts will you put between now and December towards achieving that goal? Okay, now December is here. What do we do in the next 1 year, in the next 2 years, in the next 5 years? So if for you 5 years sounds too far, just ask yourself, where do you see your brand next year? This time next year, this August next year, between now and next year, what do I want my personal brand to look like, really? Okay, I think I've given us the sufficient 5 minutes I had proposed for this. So you can answer this at the end of, we'll answer this at the end of the session, or see as many questions we can answer at the end of the session. So I'm going back to the slide. So if you have been unable to scan it, this is the last 1 more minute to scan.
I dropped the link in the chat as well. So you can click the link.
All right. Okay. So here I put a call out that being able to articulate your brand will help others understand who you really are, what you stand for, build authentic relationship, and ultimately realize your goal. So here you see the caveat and the phrase, who you really are. So earlier I painted a picture of somebody thinks I'm rude, somebody else thinks I'm very humble. That's because I've left it to chance, right? That's why either party can decide or think what they think of me, right? But if I'm intentional about curating what I want, how I want to be perceived, then I'll be able to let people know who I truly am. Oh, I can be rude sometimes, but I'm actually a humble person. Oh, I can be this, but you do get, so who you truly are, then you are able to define it. And then the person just don't go with the opinion that, oh no, that person is rude, I don't want to work with her again. Oh, I actually wasn't rude, I was just being very direct in this conversation. And don't mind me that I'm using the example of rude, I'm just using the extremes, right? So yeah, so just saying that, say, okay, but it's very possible for people to see a person and have two different extreme views about such person. Okay. So if you're able to articulate your own brand yourself, it's easier for others to see you. That's just the truth. So that if you too, you're also thinking, I'm a shoemaker, I'm a cobbler, yeah, that's shoemaker, I'm a fashion designer, I like to make hair, and you are just all over the place yourself. Then don't be surprised if somebody also think, oh, I thought you only make shoes. I actually make dresses. Oh, wow. Oh, you write really well. I don't know, you just spoken word. Yes. And then sometimes you miss opportunities because you've not been able to articulate everything together, right? Yeah. Okay. So I move to the next slide saying leveraging social media. And I think I have an interesting group of people here. Even OJ says she's guilty. Well, so social media as it is, the truth is that even myself, I'm not social media. We have so many platforms of social media. So LinkedIn is also social media. Let's put that one out there. So Twitter is also social media. Twitter is also a place where you can build your brand. And I think one of the things I want to say myself, I have a struggle with having to tell all of my stories online, right? But what I've done for myself, so I'll use myself as the lab rat, is my LinkedIn profile speaks solely about work, like my career development. So if you want to know anything about Ayomide Fasan as regards her work or what she's passionate about, like anything professional, career-wise, you'll find it on LinkedIn. Okay, one. My IG is a bit broader. I don't even talk about my work as much on IG because I've dedicated LinkedIn to it. So sometimes it's hard for me to make all this kind of posts, or I'll be presenting as IHA on IG. I will, if the organization posts on IG, it's easy for me to just share on my story, or maybe make it deliberate to say, okay, I'm making a post on it, but it might just be one. I won't actively push for that post because my IG is pretty chilled. It's more about life, maybe relationship for me, and then my passion, because and my belief as a Christian, right? I run a children's organization, a children's ministry so I use that more to drive that, because I'm like, you don't put that on LinkedIn in my head, right? So yeah. Then my Twitter, maybe like OJ is, in fact, people really in my Twitter is just for vibes. I'm just going there to see stuff, like they maybe randomly post something I don't want to post on WhatsApp status, or I've posted on WhatsApp status, but I would like to see it some other time, because WhatsApp will disappear after 24 hours anyways. So I'll post it on Twitter. It's nothing too deep, because of course I'm a human being. Everything should not be too serious. So that's why there's Twitter. Threads, I have no plans joining yet because I can't even keep up with so many at the same time. TikTok, I'm not on TikTok. Then what else? Which other platform again is quite popular? Snapchat, I only take pictures and that's all. And I save it on my phone. Which other one? I think those are the pretty popular ones around, right? So you can also decide to define your brands in buckets like that, or decide which platform you're going to use. And I've seen people that actively, their IG is even their LinkedIn for me, because they are back to back posting career. I'm speaking here, I'm doing this. I'm like, nice. But how do you people cope? In fact, my IG is private, to be honest, because I'm like, it's relationship, it's family. People should not be praying into it. If I want to see it, I'll let you see it, kind of thing. But as I begin to grow and expand, I realized that I can't really separate it, and I will likely have to make it on private. So what I've now done now, no, you should not go and look for me, is I created a doppelganger or an alter ego page on IG where I can write poems. I used to write poems before, and then I stopped. I had a blog before, then I closed the blog down, all of that. But I see that I need that part of me that still needs to be very creative. I really want to do that on LinkedIn. On IG, I'm already archiving it, and it's already private anyway. So who am I trying to reach? So I just created that with a different name entirely. And what I do there is just so also I do nature photography. So I take pictures. I can just like, oh, this bird is pretty. I take a picture. Then I write a poem on the spot. So it's unrehearsed, it's spontaneous for me, and it's just a way of refreshing my own creative juice, right? So if you're here and you're like, oh no, social media is a chore, it's hard work, I'm even trying to breathe, you people are saying I should add social media to this thing. The truth is that we won't see you if you're not online, actually. Or those that will see you are those around you physically. It's the truth. No matter how we want to say it, the world has already evolved to the point where everything is happening virtually, everything is happening online, or most things are happening. There are also a number of things that are happening physically, but really, if you want me to see you, if we are not having this conversation, I may never see you if I don't stumble on you online. There's a very high chance. So what I would advise, and I think everybody, at least if you're a career person, right, or even a business person, you should maintain a LinkedIn page. I know that now some people celebrate birthdays on LinkedIn and I can't relate, but I'm serious. I'm like, just do that on IG now. Just leave this LinkedIn. Let's just stay professional as it's supposed to be, right? Which I think is the intent of whoever created the app in the first place. So you can maintain your LinkedIn profile and make it your CV, your virtual CV. So it's easy for you on the go. Somebody's like, oh, do you have your CV? You may not necessarily have your CV on your phone, but you're able to say, let me send you my LinkedIn page so you can see and let me know if my relevant experiences are useful for the role they are proposing or pitching to me, something like that, right? And also, even when you want to apply for, like she said, she got a scholarship, you want to apply for some of these workshops and all, I told you that they immediately ask, on the Google form or whatever form, survey form they're using, they say, please include your LinkedIn profile. You don't want to put it a profile that has no picture, has nothing there really. Do you get? So you just have to leverage it and use what works for you. You don't have to tell us how, if you're married or you're not married. So that's why I said LinkedIn is still pretty tidy for a professional profile. You can keep your IG private, keep whatever else private, and maybe from time to time, or if you have the bandwidth. But I imagine that if you're even struggling to keep one, you can keep two. If you have the bandwidth, then you can separate and have a personal IG page. You can't have as many IG pages as you want anyway. So have one that is strictly professional, have another one that is for vibes and inshallah in quotes, right? And then have the fun you want to have or talk. I know some people, Twitter is their world because they're able to respond to people. I just read and laugh and pass most of the time because I can't keep to. If I say I should talk, I don't want anybody dragging my nice name on the ground. So those are the odds, right? So I said here that you can use LinkedIn, there's a visual identity that has to do with brand uniformity. So across all these platforms, no matter how, if you check everything, you will see that I wrote comms, African, for me, right? Those are my own keywords. You see African, you see communications, you will likely see education, or I think I've changed it now to social impact. So those are the things you would find across all my social media platform. Even if I'm not saying on my Twitter, okay, I think on Twitter I said where I don't say where I actually work officially. It's my organization, like my own voluntary organization that I put on Twitter. It's a chair of CHL Africa, but you won't see where I actually work. On my IG, you won't see where I actually work, but on LinkedIn you will find it there. So these are the differences, the nuances that are there, right? On my LinkedIn, you won't see the children's ministry that I do. I only wrote it, I think, in the profile and saying I teach children in church somewhere down, but I didn't even say, oh, Doxa Camp. I work as the leader or the management. I didn't write it there because I don't see it as like a professional work. But on my IG, you'll find it there in my bio. So on my bio, so these are the little nuances, right? Some people are good at having personal blog. I was at some webinar, I was yesterday, where the lady has it like www.ayomidefasan.com, something like that. And all she has there is everything about her own career. So instead of her LinkedIn, she created a profile for herself, the website. So if you have the luxury of doing that, fine. You can have that and you don't necessarily need to be on LinkedIn because you can easily share that and say, oh, see my work, see what I've done, this is my portfolio. There you go. Some people decide to have YouTube pages, right? I have a YouTube page, by the way, but I'm not promoting my YouTube page. My YouTube page is for archives. There are videos that can't stay on IG. There are videos that cannot stay on LinkedIn, but I don't want to just keep them in my Google Drive. So I created a YouTube page. My name is there, and I'm uploading my videos. And they're just there. I'm not saying, please follow me or don't follow me, subscribe to my channel, none of that. And then I used to have a podcast that I do. So I just downloaded them, put a cover, what do you call this cover, right? For the video cover, and I uploaded it there. So that in case anybody who knows an opportunity might stumble on my feed and say, have you ever done a podcast? If I'm like, oh yes, can I find it? Before I start looking for the link on Anchor where it used to be, I can easily just access my YouTube and share the link with them. This has been there since 2021 when I did this. Oh wow, you still have the capacity to do it? Obviously, absolutely. Why did you stop? And I can go ahead to explain, right? And then so I just got caught up in a lot of work and that's all. But I still have this, I can do it. Who knows, maybe next month I can decide again to pick it up and continue. So you can have a podcast, a blog, a vlog, as it were. You can have so that's past platform selections where I say you choose which one works for me, which one does not work for me. Then content, right? There's a content. So what kind of content do you also want to share per page? Your content strategy, which is like what I've said. Oh, for me now, you hardly find my work at the office on my IG page really, but you'll see it on LinkedIn. So engagement also, the kind of engagement you would like to attract will also be based on the content strategy. You at least, people will congratulate me that, oh, they proposed to you, congratulations, on my IG, but they will not see that on LinkedIn. Do you get, I will say, I just got proposed to on LinkedIn. No. Or I will say happy married life now. No. So do you get, so these are the little, so that kind of engagement, the engagement will differ per platform you select. And like I said, you don't have to be like me. You can simply have a LinkedIn page and IG. You can have only IG and a personal blog or a vlog, whatever really rocks your boat. But if I can make a case for LinkedIn, I'll actually say that everybody should have an optimal LinkedIn page, to be honest, because I think it's cheaper than getting a website. To be honest, it's cheaper than getting a website. So I'll pause there and just read the caption that says, social media and online presence are essential tools for personal branding. They allow you to connect with your target audience, share your stories, and build credibility. So you see that the social media is not just about you again. It's not just about you pouring out, oh, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. This is what you people should say about me. It's also about you engaging and connecting with your target audience. Oh, I'm a gender advocate. There's this person who is making moves in Uganda. Like, wow, I really admire her. If I can just do half of what she's doing now, you won't meet her. You may not be able to you may not be able to fly to Uganda, but you can connect with her on LinkedIn, even with a cold email to say, oh, hello, I just met you. I just read your profile. It's beautiful. I like what you do. This is what I currently do. And for me, I've gotten some connections like that before. They may not be actively useful to me now, but I know that in subsequent time, they'll be useful. For instance, my job, I just clocked 3 years working where I currently work. And, I got this job via LinkedIn. In fact, it's not that they advertised the job role via LinkedIn. It was during COVID. And I was just like, oh, I had to leave the radio station where I used to work because it was COVID. I had travel home and everything because it was a campus radio. So we had to shut down. And I'm like, Ayomide, we cannot just be looking. We have to find something to do. And I was just scrolling on LinkedIn. And then I stumbled on this woman's profile that she does comms for this organization where I currently work. And I sent her a connection link and said, hello, ma, I like what you do. I don't know if you're looking for a volunteer. I'm happy to volunteer on your team for comms. That was the message I typed. And she said, oh, what did you are you a graduate already? I said, yes. And I said, okay, just apply for the job. So apparently they were looking for a comms person, but they did not advertise for it. So as much as they say, yes, God orchestrated, but God will not carry my phone and type and send the message to her. Do you get? And I needed to have something to show. So she said, okay, sent me their careers website page. I should send my application. I applied. Like we say I should do an interview, do this, do that. And also I got the job. And like I said, I clocked 3 years just 2 days ago in that same office. And it's through LinkedIn, right? So you might not know how much value it will give to you by the time you're connecting with your target audience. Sometimes you're able to access people to partner with more people. Sorry, my neighbors. You're able to partner with people and also improve your own profile, right? So you meet somebody that knows somebody, and person can say, well, I know this person. I can propose that this person can do a great job with what I see with the content online. And that's it. So I would enjoin you that as much as you might be shy to tell your own stories. In fact, this life is easy, to be honest. Sometimes all I just do is to repost, because I see that I don't have the bandwidth enough to actively write articles, long articles about what branding is, what personal branding is, content, this is that. I repost other people's own. Sometimes even if I'm that lazy, I can just put this pin emoji that you see on the screen to say, like, this is awesome, you should read this. Or in the comment section, I'm saying, thank you for sharing this. This is really great. So people see that, oh, this person interacts with content. You may not be able to write it, or you can even read. I've done that before. I've read some articles before. I rephrase the articles and make it a post and say, the source of this is so and so link. Kindly read more if you are interested. That way also I've re-engaged, and I have content for myself. So it's sometimes not as hard as we imagine it to be. And you pace yourself. It's not every day you must post. You don't have to post every day. You don't have to post every week. You start small, and of course you build on it over time. So I will just pause there now and then move to the next slide, where I'll be concluding, and then we'll have some minutes to look back again at the personal branding workbook I had shared. So in conclusion, right, I would say you should plan and allocate time for personal branding. You have to be deliberate. Like I said, nothing falls really on our laps. to be honest. So you have to plan and allocate time for personal branding. And I think the first time you should allocate is for needs assessment. So even if it's after this meeting, if you're not too busy, just look at that document that I shared with you earlier to say, okay, Blessing, what can you do? Adebusola, what can you do? Ore, what can I do? Sorry, what can I do? Right? And then you look at it. This is who do I want to be known as? If I can't answer that, okay, but do I have a sense of who that person is? And why we've reiterated over and over that you have a model. What a model does is that it makes it easier. So you might be like, oh, I like this, I like this, I like that. Then is it possible for one person to have all of this? If you find a model that embodies that, see Oprah Winfrey, right? She still does interviews, so you can say she's a public speaker or a host, as it were. She now does movies with your own network, right? So you maybe initially while she was thinking about it, she might have felt, is it possible to be an actress? Not in fact, she's not really an actress, but she acts movies. So is it possible to merge all of these things together? Yes, it's possible. How do I make it possible? Do I want to write? Can I still be an author as well? So all of that put together, right? So plan and allocate time for your personal branding. You have to be deliberate, be genuine rather than aiming for perfection. Like I said, be very genuine with yourself. So if it's the tiniest thing, if it's IG that you are promoting, if it's a clothing brand, I know it will be hard to sell a clothing brand on LinkedIn, to be honest. So you might need a dedicated IG page for your business to say, oh, with this page, I'm going to post in this. What you can do on LinkedIn cannot be talking about maybe how to make good clothes or train people who are interested in vocational training. You would find content. The truth is that now we even have AI tools that can help us. All you need to do sometimes is just to write some prompts. And they are not scary. They are not devil's tools. You can maximize them, right? And use them to say, okay, I'm writing a prompt. What can I post? In fact, some people I've seen friends that use these AI tools to maybe for the sake of those that may not know, AI tools include, let's say, ChatGPT. I think that's the most popular. There is Bard, and there are some other ones like that. So you just check and say, okay, I would like to talk about this today. Any prompt or any idea, then it gives you something, you refine it, or you have a rough draft that you've written. I don't think this thing sounds nice. Then you post it, place it there or paste it there and say, kindly help me reward nicely or distinctly or professionally for a LinkedIn post. Then it does the magic. And you can move it there. It's not copy and paste. It's your idea. You had written the first draft. It's just refining it for you. And then you copy and paste and you put it on LinkedIn. Find a nice picture online. Cite the source. It's not every time you have to do the design. If you're not great at using Canva or any other design tool, it's don't kill yourself. So let's say, just be genuine. Rather do something than not do something at all because you want it to be perfect. Find a nice picture on Splash, on Google, and cite the source. Once you cite the source, there will be no copyright issue. You didn't claim that you did the design or you did the graphics yourself, right? Address criticism gracefully and constructively. And I think this is also one of the reasons people shy away from engagement online. Like me now, I avoid the criticism on Twitter. And who knows, maybe the opportunities I would have maximized on Twitter, but because I'm scared of being dragged, I'm not saying so much, right? So once you address criticism gracefully and constructively too, so you write a post and somebody says, I quite disagree with what you have said. In my own world, this doesn't work, this does, this rather this works. Oh, thank you. It's good to explore. Be open. We are all learning now. Since you say my idea does not work, please tell us your own idea that is working. And if it's actually working, you learn, you move on. It's a learning space. We all learn every day, right? So these are the things you put in. Address your criticism gracefully and constructively. And interestingly, somebody can see that and say, oh, wow, this person must be really polite. Look at how she has handled this conversation. I would hire her for crisis communication management. You never can tell, right? So also stay current in your field to maintain credibility. Stay current in your field to maintain credibility. And that's true. Somebody, if we say, oh, now in this field of UI UX, these are the tools that we need. In data analysis, I know people have shifted a bit from Excel to say Python. There is this Stata or Strata R or something, and there are just quite a good number of them like that. It's not my field, so you can pardon me, but those in the field know better what I'm trying to say. So before data analysis, you hear Excel, learn how to use Excel for data analysis, but now there are plethora of tools that they are using. So stay current. So when people are talking about R plus or something, or in fact, SPSS used to be the thing during the time when I wrote my project in university. I doubt that they still use that stuff. So I'm serious. So imagine now people are using Python. You are now talking about SPSS. It's a big deal. As much as maybe you might still find somebody who needs SPSS or something, no, people that are on top of the game may think that you don't know as much, right? So you have to stay current, because as much, if you're out there, you have to, that's why you need to appear. Yeah, there's a packaging that has to go with it too, so that you don't look a cake or stale as well. Then a personal brand exists, whether you create it for yourself or not. So I think this is my own final word to you. Go. Say, if you like, create it, or if you like, don't create it, it actually exists. Even though it might not exist as a personal brand, it might be what it is as reputation that I told you before, where people already have a perception of you. People can even have a perception that, yes, she sews, but she's not a serious person that can sew. Or she's not a serious graphic designer. Have you ever seen a graphic designer anyway? So they already have a perception of you. So it's not better for you to already define what you want them to see. So that's why I say start small, start with what you have. And of course, as you progress, as you begin to enjoy the benefits, you are encouraged, you are spurred to even do more, and also seek help. Some people seek help. They have people who manage their personal brand. Tinubu definitely is not managing the social media handles. Like, I can bet that. Right? Yes. But he has a brand. He has someone who is helping him to manage the brand. So who knows, if you're very good at managing your brand, you could be hired someday to manage some other person's brand and get paid for it. So I would love that you live here seeing all the possible opportunities rather than the challenges. I know the challenges exist, but the truth is you can absolutely overcome it. I know as a result of my LinkedIn brand, my LinkedIn personal brand development, I know how many people I've helped, whether paid and free, to do, even in my office. Like, it's as if I'm not the go-to person for, they say, I saw your LinkedIn, come and do my own like that. Me, I don't have time. Bring money. Initially, I was doing it for free. And right before my eyes, 2 people got scholarship and went. I said, wow. You will not be telling me, don't worry, John, anything you want, just tell me, I'll pay you back. Okay. See, they pay back now. So a few more, I'm like, especially if I can charge you, I will just charge you. Okay, give me 15K or 20K, or buy me lunch at least. I'll help you look at it. For some that I know that they are not that serious, I will just give them guidance. Okay, this is what you should do. You should do when you're ready, go and do it. If you like, don't do it. For some that I respect, like my bosses, I would take it up and help them do it. And then, thank you, Ayomide. And some from time to time, can you help me look at this post? I want to make it. Oh, please make it. So, and that's as a result of the fact that I created my own. But when I was creating my own, I was doing it for me. I never thought I would have to do it for others, or be that kind of person that they'll reach out to say, please help me to do my own. I was just building my own personal brand. So, like I said, please look at all the possible opportunities that exist and make use of it as well. So, in summary, remember that personal branding is not an overnight process. So please don't feel bad when you post today and only one person likes it, please. And the truth is that people's taste, people's mood, time, when, like, there are a lot of how will I put it now? There are a lot of factors that affect people's reaction to engagement. If you post 12 midnight, you might be surprised that a lot of people like it. Maybe they are awake right about that time. If you post like 2 p.m. 2 p.m. it might be lunchtime. If you post like 9 or 10 a.m. on a Monday, people may hardly engage that post because they're at work. Even me, I will likely not be online. And of course, you know that their feed is not waiting for only you. By the time they're checking, maybe in the evening, the number of posts have gone down. Maybe if you don't necessarily tag them, they will likely not even see it. So don't judge the quality of your work based on how many people liked, how many people share. It's sometimes not direct. It's not a direct, it does not have that direct relationship in a sense most of the time. So I said, in summary, remember that personal brand is not an overnight process, but a journey of continuous growth and adaptation. Your personal brand is a powerful tool that can open doors, create new opportunities, and ultimately shape your professional trajectory. Thank you so much for having me. And let me just ask Oji, how many minutes do we have? Maybe we can look at, if there are any questions.
We are actually over time, as it were, but we would give time for people to ask questions now. So rather than go through the handbook, so if there's a way that people can collaborate with you after this on that handbook, that would be nice. But I don't think we have the time to go through it now in person. But people can ask their questions now.
Okay, so I hear that if you have any question, please drop it in the comment box. That's one. Then 2, as regards engaging me after this session, I told OJ earlier before the call that I'm happy to look at help 3 people review their personal brand self-assessment. So if between today is Saturday, and say, I'll give you Tuesday, 11 p.m. Tuesday, 11 p.m. If you can, if you can look at the workbook, fill the workbook, and then would like to have a conversation, have a 30-minute conversation to say, okay, now that I've done this, what can I do? Because I actually do branding for a living anyways, whether it's an organization or a personal brand. I'm ensuring that you have a good reputation anyways. So please feel free. That's for 3 people. So the first 3 people that receive their email with a filled document, I would answer by Tuesday. But after Tuesday, then I'll be charging you for my service. God bless you, everybody.
Thank you so much. That's really, really, really generous.
Thank you. All right. So I hope you are able to maximize the opportunity, though. Yes. So any question? Okay, I see there are already questions.
No, not questions per se.
Okay. It's just
Someone is saying me, but like there's actually no, she's not selecting people from here. So it's based on what you do after this section. So if you can submit that workbook, I think we need your like email, I guess. I see it on the next slide.
Yes. So you can reach out to me. My phone number is there.
You can find her on LinkedIn as well. Alicia talked about LinkedIn a lot.
Yes. So if you don't send me a mail, you can send it to me on LinkedIn. I just hope I don't see 3 people via email. Well, I'll use the time that was used to determine who are the first 3 sharp.
Exactly. So the first 3 people that send that document will get a review from her. So does anyone have any question now that we have her? You can unmute as well to ask your questions.
Yes,
so I think for me, I do have a question. So you talked a lot. You talked a lot about how you manage your multiple interests. So would you say that it would be cluttered or like just too much if we post all our multiple interests across board? Like if for some reason, let's say I have time, because I imagine that would be very exhausting to want to post every little thing everywhere. But if I have the time and I want to post academic, professional, personal, whatever, all the spheres of my life, my advocacy, everything on all the platforms, is that okay or would that be cluttered?
Well, I would say that it will be cluttered. It just needs to be how you are presenting it, right? It just needs to be pretty organized. You can post about everything on every platform. In fact, that just increases the chances of more people seeing everything that you do. It just needs to be very tidy. So say maybe you can decide, that's on you to decide to make your Monday. This is what I talk about. I motivate people generally because I like to write creative things. On Tuesdays, I'm letting the world know about, it's maybe, or no, not necessarily Tuesday. It's a suicide prevention day. You're asking yourself, what can I say? Oh, my battery's running low. What can I say at this meeting now? Or to celebrate, to commemorate this day, this is this and this and that, and you can post make that same post across. But what you need to bear in mind is different nuances. For Twitter, it cannot be that long, nobody will read it. You can't even post that long anyways. Or LinkedIn can be as long as you desire. Can you see? Okay, yeah, I was hoping you could still hear me. So you can post as long as you desire. On Instagram, there's a limit to how much the length should be, maybe more of graphics or pictures rather. So yes, you can do the multiple things, but the real work starts with you defining it from your own end to say, okay, what are the major things I want people to know me for? And how can I ensure that every week in, week out, I talk about these 3 things, right? I talk about these 4 things in a strategic way that I'm able to reach out. But the truth is, ultimately, they should be able to meet in the middle somewhere. There should be a nexus. So that makes it much more easier for you.
Okay, thank you so very much.
As time goes on, also, you find out that maybe more of your crowd or target audience for a particular thing is on one platform, while another group is on another platform. So that will also help you. While you still talk about it, but you know where to put concerted efforts per time.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. I don't know if any other person has a question. So, okay, in the chat, we say, someone says, how do you edit the document? So I know that, Adobe PDF,
Yes.
that's what I was going to say. Adobe PDF works.
Yes.
So like once you upload the document, you can type in the spaces. It automatically recognizes spaces for you to type. So you can do that. So, I cannot like really, I know that this is a service that would not, it's free. Yeah, you have given it to us for free, and really, really appreciate that, because I know that it's not generally a free service. It has great value, as you have rightly pointed out during your session, like tremendous value. So thank you so much for your time, for taking this time to share this much with us, and even like be really, really practical about it. Thank you.
Thank you
Chidima is
so
here.
much.
Hi, Chidima. You want to say something? You are mute.
Hi, Ayo, thank you so much. That was really, really, I wasn't there all through, but the few parts that I listened to was really nice. So I have a question, right? The question I have is, what if you're someone that you be hesitant? Because I think oftentimes people know the importance of personal branding, but it's like, I don't want to share my stuff. I don't want to do anything about it. I don't know if you said something about it earlier, but what happens with people like that? What's the encouragement? How do you, for people that don't like sharing stuff, like, do you have like a trick or something that can help?
Well, maybe a trick would be that they have a virtual assistant or personal assistant that can help them tell the stories or manage their social media. And that's if they can afford it.
Yeah, what if you are broke?
If you are broke, then we need to solve, why are you shy? Is it a self-confidence thing? Do you feel, is it an inferiority complex issue? So we need to actually get to the deep root cause of that issue. Why are you hesitant to share? Do you think it's not good enough? So just from there, we are able to now find out what are the possible solutions to offer. So if you feel you're not good enough, one is to look at it and say, no, compare yourself with this other person, benchmark your work. Do you see that you are doing as good as this person is doing? And yes, if let's agree it's not good enough, what can you now do to improve it and make it good enough to post, right? Because ultimately, there's no better person to tell your story than yourself. Even if you have an assistant who is helping, the person also needs to see the vision like you do to actually be able to tell the story ultimately, right? So we have to fix that, the root cause, because it's coming from a place. Why are you not happy to post? Is it an experience you've seen? Did you see someone who had a very bad crisis comes story? They're like, no, I don't want to be in this person's WhatsApp group. I don't want to have get lashes online. So I would rather not even see anything at all. So that's the solution I would prefer to that. So there's really no trick per se.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm now going to thank you so much. So since we do not have more questions, I'm now going to share my screen as we kind of wrap up the with this. I'm trying to find the right screen now. So many screens. I'm going to share my screen so that right one. And what I would want you to do now is actually to just provide, while we recap, but like the first thing is to provide a feedback on your experience today. That'll be really helpful for us. Everybody should actually please do this. So I'm going to drop a link in the chat that has yeah, so I'm going to drop a link in the chat so that you have to fill this, especially if you're on the mentorship program. And also for guests, we would like to hear from you as well. But if you're on the mentorship program, this would also serve as attendance for this particular meeting. So please, if you're a mentee particularly, this would serve as attendance for this meeting. So please complete this. And while we're here, I think I'm just going to share so while the link is right in the chat, so please tell me if you have any issues accessing it. But while we're here, I think for me, I'm just going to share things that really stood out for me. So one thing that really stood out for me is one of the last things that she said, which was whether or not you decide to take charge of your personal brand, you already have a reputation out there. So taking charge of your personal brand is an opportunity to kind of define people's perception of you. So that for me is really, 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 what I say, a challenge that I'm going to pick up, because generally I do not take a lot of interest in my personal brand. But I'm now people already have a perception of me regardless, but taking care of my personal brand is my opportunity to direct what they think about me. So I said definition of a personal brand is what people believe to be true about you when you are not present. So it's what people believe to be true about you was really interesting for me, because again, which is social media, right? You can you can kind of direct people's perception of you, direct people's view of you. So that is something I'm going to take personal and take charge of that opportunity I have to tell my brand. And I've also liked when she talked personally about using social media as a portfolio or as an archive. So it's a portfolio to show off what you're doing, or as an archive to also store things for the future. So I'm like, I'm going to tap into those things really, because sometimes it can be messy. Like when I want to, especially when you want to like edit your CV. For me personally, I'm like, I've done a lot of things. Like sometimes I do several things in such a short time. You're like, what did I even do? What did I even do? What did I even do? Generally, I use the calendar now, but the calendar just tells you the events that you participated in. But for actual content of what happened, putting it on social media may help your reflection. And also I'm going to consider using social media in that way. And I think, yeah, she also talked about like you don't have to always generate content. And there's a workbook for mentees on the for the mentees task brief. There's a workbook that is really insightful there. Even mentors have access to that, the mentees task brief. There's a workbook that's really insightful there where they talked about like a strategy on creating content. And it was like content should not always, and I did not even know that was a thing, content should not always be about what you create. So you should not always be creating content, which is part of the thing that she shared. So you have to be you have to also share what other people have said, or as she said, repost what other people have said, give credits. It also, of course, helps you build your network. So it's like, yeah, it was really a packed session for me. I made notes. I do have my pen and my thing. Yes, I don't know about you, but then this recording will be available for everyone. I think on our YouTube channel, which we are putting together. I'm sure it will be available, and we'll send link to everybody that turned up for today's session. And I mean, it will be available subsequently. So that's it for me for the recap. So upcoming events, I can tell you that in the next 2 weeks, we're going to have a session about business management and entrepreneurship. Generally, at least that's the plan, and to hold at the same time. We already have an amazing speaker lined up for that particular session. And it's not even just about if you're going to be a business manager or an entrepreneur at all. I feel like my personal belief is that people should live their lives the way people run businesses. A lot of times people invest so much time in businesses or invest so much intentionality or just are more efficient in running businesses than they are in their lives. So for me, I'm always learning about business tips, even though I don't have any intentions of becoming even though I don't have any intention to become a business person, but I feel like it will help me optimize my life generally. And a lot of times business is tied to money. I mean, I'm all about making the money. So please, I think what you can do is that you can follow us on social media to stay updated. So we've not started publicity, but I'm sure that's going to start like on Monday. So we're going to like really be pushing that, because we've been pushing this event, but on Monday we'll start pushing that particular event. So you get to know more about that session. So I think I would also drop the link to the chat. In the chat of our link tree. So our link tree kind of has all the links to our social media. Once you click that, you get our Facebook, Instagram, and you can also check it for the link to register for upcoming events. You can scan this QR code as well, and you get all the information to follow us on social media. And I mean, even if you don't want to follow us on social media, just have that link, and then you can check it subsequently for our next and upcoming events. Then else I have to say, oh yeah. So thank you so much actually for joining